What's up guys, today we're going to be ranking the Skylanders games worst at best with a special guest, Elite Boomer. But before I get into the video, if you have a different ranking, you should put it in the comments because I would love to see your guys' different rankings. Anyways, let's get into it. So for last place, we have, you guessed it, Skylanders Superchargers. Even playing it for the first time, it just didn't feel right. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate it, but the vehicles just aren't my favorite gimmick. One thing I really like about Superchargers though is the story. It makes you feel like there is no hope and that you are the only one who can save Skylands. Also, can we talk about the scene where Glumshanks dies? Man, that was depressing. Until the next level where he comes back. Like what? I thought he was dead.
Why, it's Glumshanks! Jumping cuttlefish, that troll's gone daffy!
He's gonna get sucked into the rift! What's he doing out there?
He's saving us!
Also, Fiesta has the most annoying attack ever. I never wanted to use him. Why make me buy a figure that make me not want to use it? Like, listen to this attack.
I want to take a pic.
One cool thing though about Superchargers is that it was developed by Vicarious Visions, which makes it feel very similar to Swap Force, just not executed as well. I mean, I don't really have anything positive to say about this game. It's really just the story that's good. Great even. The vehicle sections feel Super Force, and I know you technically didn't have to do them, but that is how you would get your Portal Master rank up, and I needed to flex a high rank, so yes, you did have to do them. Anyways, let's give it to Elite Boomer for the number 5 spot.
Why Imaginators is lower on the list? It's because of the lack of content and variety compared to the other games. A good example are the bosses because most of them are just the same thing, well for the exception of Chaos, or just lack of variety put into the bosses. There are some good Skylanders like Kingpin, Chaos, and a bunch of other ones, but because there's 10 chapters, an awful lot of side missions towards the end of the game, and special Sensei realms that can only be used by Senseis. So if you bought the Portal Owner's Edition back in the day without buying any Senseis, you can't complete half of the game.
Alright, so for number 4, we have SSA. Now this is where we go from meh to top tier. One thing that is holding back SSA, in my opinion, is that the levels are kind of repetitive. At one point you spend 3 levels in a forest, and at another point there's 3 undead levels in a row. Also, there isn't much of a gimmick, but that isn't really fair to say since the gimmick itself is Toys to Life. Now let's get into what makes this game amazing. One thing I love about SSA is that every Skylander feels powerful. In later games, the gimmick Skylanders are what to go with, but since there isn't really a gimmick, all of the Skylanders are fun to use. It's also a great game for new fans of the series because it introduces you to a lot of things that are in the series all the way through Imaginators. Some key things are elemental gates, sky stones, upgrading, and more. And one more thing it introduces you to is Flynn.
Hey, I found Callie, and she's not half bad. Oh yeah, and she's been captured by a bunch of evil drones. We gotta save her so she can get on with more important things, like thanking me. Boom!
Anyways, let's get into the number 3 spot.
Skylanders Swap Force is a fan favorite game because it's like the perfect game. A new gimmick of swapping top halves and bottom halves making the ultimate Skylanders and new/returning characters. The only reason why the game is lower than Trap Team is because of the length of the levels, which take a long time unless you speed through them, and the Wii port of the game, which had a few tweaks to the levels and didn't run as smooth as the PS3 and 360 versions.
So for number 2, we have Skylanders Giants. This game is amazing. It does what SSA tried to do, but way better. The Giants didn't do too much, but I really liked that you didn't have to grab bombs to knock down walls. You could easily just punch them if you had a Giant, which everyone has a Giant because Tree Rex comes in the starter pack, so bombs are basically useless. There were 16 new Skylanders, 8 Giants and 8 Cores. Giants also introduced Light Cores, which I kind of liked, but I guess other people didn't really like them because they only lasted until Swap Force. Also, the levels are amazing. Some of my favorites being Willikin Village and Rumbletown. Just something about the levels in Giants makes the game so fun to play. Skylanders Giants was also the game that introduced me and many other players to the series, even though I later on bought SSA. Also, can we talk about that Chaos boss fight? It is terrifying running from this giant robot. No pun intended, get it? Cause Skylanders Giants. Giants is in the name and I said giant robot. And then later on you have to fight some enemies, don't get hit, and beat up some fists. And then the Archean robot that Chaos is in grabs him and crashes into his mom's house. Yeah, I don't know, but it does lead into Swap Force. Collecting the Skylanders from this game was pretty fun though, and since this game had so many different variants and chase variants, I felt like every time I went to the store, I had to look in the Skylanders section. And I actually lucked out because I found this super rare white flocked Prism Break. I guess he's worth like $300 on eBay, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, let's hand it over to Elite Boomer for the #1 Skylanders game.
So, why is Trap Team the highest on the list? Because it's an amazing game, fun levels, fun gimmicks, and levels that aren't as long as Swap Force. Over 46 trappable villains, yes, I did count, compatible with over 175 Skylanders, and so on. Surprisingly, the Wii version is a little better than Swap Force, which is a nice touch. Also, you can play as Elite Boomer in this game.
Not to mention, Trap Team has one of the most unique gimmicks we've ever seen in a Skylanders game. A lot of the villains, especially the Doom Raiders, are amazing. This has nothing to do with Trap Team, but I love how the story of the Doom Raiders continues to be told in Skylanders Academy. Oh, and the levels are awesome. Even the bonus packs we got were really good. I really like the roster that Trap Team gave us because we got almost an entirely new set of cores. While a lot of them are pretty forgettable, it doesn't stop them from being great Skylanders. But of course, my boy Gilgrunt ended up returning anyway.
Here the fish!
Speaking of the Skylanders, let's talk about how we got 2 new elements, Light and Dark. Light and Dark each had a core dragon and a Trap Master corresponding to their element. Overall, Trap Team is just an amazing game and 100% deserves the #1 spot. Alright guys, so that was the Skylanders games ranked. Everybody go sub to Elite Boomer, link in the description. So yeah, what Skylanders topic should I cover next? Tell me in the comments below. Anyways, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.